Is cycling supposed to be an absolutely horrible, painful, skin-ripping experience? No. As a short answer, no, it's not. But this is unfortunately the reality that many beginner cyclists and triathletes face when they first get into the sport. Uh, First thing that people end up developing is something called saddle sores, which makes it dreadfully painful to sit your butt on one of these seats back here. The next thing is cutting off circulation to your under regions. That is not supposed to happen. And just the general pain from having to sit on the saddle for sometimes multiple hours at a time. So in this video, it's a long introduction, I'm going to share just a few quick tricks that saved my butt, no pun intended, in my last training cycle. And these are lessons that I had to learn the hard way. So I'm hoping to alleviate some of that hard lessons learned for you. The first thing that I will tell you, assuming that you are wearing proper bike shorts, ones that fit you properly, not too tight, not too loose, is get something along the lines of this chamois cream, this specific brand that I use, and for no particular reason. It's just, quick and easy to get off Amazon. Is called Gooch Guard chamois cream, and this is an anti-chafing cream that has antibacterial properties so that you do not develop saddle sores, and it also makes your rides just a bit more comfortable. So before I started using this, and just anything like this specifically, I would get pretty bad skin rashes from the friction that is formed from repeated pedaling for hours, and especially once you get sweaty. So this is like the number one thing that started making riding on these bikes for extended periods of time much more bearable. The next thing that I'll say that is a little bit more of an investment is getting a proper saddle for your body. Now realistically, not everybody's going to do this, not everybody knows how to switch out their saddle, and not everybody is going to go get a professional bike fit or go to a bike shop to get professional opinion. But what I will say is both the saddle on this bike and this bike are much better than the saddle that I started out my last training season with, and I didn't realize this was the problem. All I knew was that I kept developing these saddle sores on both inside rails, I'll call it, of my butt, and it was extremely painful. And once you start to develop them, it just makes every single workout incredibly painful, and that is not the goal of your training. Your training is not supposed to be the most painful experience possible. But I didn't realize that aside from, this alleviated a lot of that creation of saddle sores, but what really did the trick was getting the right size saddle for my body type. And specifically, this is the one that I got that, started to really fix these issues. So if you're really uncomfortable, then aside from getting a good chamois cream, get someone to look at your saddle or look at your own saddle and, devise whether or not your wear and tear on your legs is due to the shape of the saddle, the size of the saddle, the position of the saddle. All these things can play a part in your discomfort. And then the last piece, which, kind of relates to the saddle also, but can relate to a completely another variable that most people wouldn't think about, expect, is if you get any numbing down, downtown, it's not supposed to happen. You're not supposed to go numb. You're not supposed to lose feeling. You're not supposed to uh, have pain down there. Again, assuming you have the right bike shorts. One of the biggest leading causes of this issue is not only the shape of the saddle, because, you know, it's happened to me before where I have two good saddles that have the split setup where the center is open, so there's no or lower pressure on your bottom region, and you can still end up going numb, and it's because of the tilt of your pelvis. And the tilt of your pelvis is mostly caused by your actual bike fit and the position that your saddle is in relation to how your legs are cranking on the pedals. So in this case, if this is happening to you, you really should get it looked at by a professional or watch some bike fitting videos. In general, you want to be able to feel like you really have your weight underneath you, and if for any reason the only way for you to be stable on your bike is to lean forward a certain amount or lean back a certain amount, it means that you don't have proper weight distribution on your saddle, and that will cause your pelvis to tilt either forward or back, which could result in pinching of the nerves that, you know, provide feeling for in your pants. So just, you know, if you're enough of a beginner where this kind of thing is happening to you and you have absolutely no clue why, because you're not developing saddle sores and you don't have any pain otherwise, then it's definitely your bike fit, and I would look into proper placement of your saddle or get a proper fit from a professional shop. Now, as on another note related to bike fit, since, you know, we're just going off the top in this video, don't just let any shop do your bike fit, because, you know, just like anything else, just like mechanics, just like doctors, just like athletes, some people are better than others. So you want to find a shop of people that you can trust. You want to find a shop of people who know what they're doing and have experience in specifically triathlon and road cycling. So if this is you, then, you know, do your research. Make sure that you're not just going to any random Joe Schmo bike shop that says that they do bike fits. Really get it done right so that your body can be optimally placed on your bike. Now, many of you remember this bike that I have here is too big for me, and until I got it fit to me, or as best as possible, because this frame is a bit too large for my body type, even getting it fit with the frame being too big for me put me in a much better position for my last race. And being in that better position allowed me to substantially PR, yes, but it also let me train harder, train longer, and put more work in without getting injured, without dealing with as much pain, and without absolutely dreading days on the bike. Now that I have this, which fits me even better than this ever did, that's where I'm looking forward to see some genuine improvement in my training processes and my results. You know, it's actually funny thinking about that now, because this time last year, when I was just starting to get cycling again for the last Ironman, I was in so much pain every single cycling session. I dreaded. I dreaded every single second that I had to spend on that indoor trainer, because it was so painful, and every week it felt like a different part of me was in pain as a result of just the ignorance of not knowing what I could or should do better. So learn from my mistakes, take these tips and actually implement them. And, you know, if you think that there's something about your setup that isn't causing you pain yet, but if you were to increase your volume in that setup, then it would start to cause a problem. And just deal with it right away, deal with it now, and stop the problem before it becomes a problem. That's my best advice. So that's it for today's video, and I'll catch you in the next one.